Yeah, hi and welcome. Welcome to our CMAP bootcamp, mortgage bootcamp live stream. It's live here from Cheltenham, Gloucestershire, UK, and it's week 2 or week 3 into lockdown. But such is life. This basement area where my studio is like cooking on gas, so we're doing okay here. So hope everything's okay with you. Hope you're surviving and doing some good things, of course. And if you're into your CMAPs or your mortgages and you're looking to self-develop yourself, then you come to the right place, and that's what we're doing for you. I just want to update you and keep you informed of what's going on really in the marketplace. So what's been happening then over the last couple of weeks or week or so? Let's update you on a few things, and I've got some tips for you on how to operate online meetings as well. So I've got that coming up for you because everybody's using this kit now to talk to customers, which I think is going to go on well beyond this COVID virus thing. I think we're going to be social distancing for quite a few years, actually. Even if we don't have to, people will want to. So I think this video technology is certainly going to find its way forward as mortgage advisors. Let's talk about what's been going on. Anyway, couple of things happening for you. We're in Q2 now, of course. Are we in recession? Yes, we are. And now a recession itself is where you have a couple of quarters of negative GDP growth, remember, for your exam. So GDP is where it goes down. 2 of those are in recession. Now, this quarter, of course, across the world, you're having vast, massive drops. I mean, they're talking about 15% drop GDP in certain, which is unprecedented. It's never happened in any recession before. I mean, in the last crash, I think we dropped by sort of 5 or 6% or something like that. But dropping by this amount is just like huge. So what's happening then with the economies? Well, I think we're looking at being put on to pause. Now, a lot of people have their own view on this. Of course they do. The governments around the world, of course, are making sure that this thing is being mothballed. I heard a number of stories of people in businesses who are mothballing their business or putting it on pause until things come back out again. So I think in a way we'll have a terrible Q2 GDP figures, and probably Q3 will be pretty awful as well. But other than that, we just take the pause button off and off we go. We never know, do we? Okay, what's happening on other things then? Well, stock market. You've probably heard the phrase in the stock market. Obviously, stock markets are falling dramatically across the world. The FTSE 100 was riding on about 7,500. That's down to about 5,500 now, but it's bobbling along nicely now. So we've lost a lot there. We've entered what they call a bull and a bear market. Now, a lot of people don't know about these things. A bull market is what we've had up in the last sort of 10 years or so. We've now entered a bear market. And what it means, a bull market, means everybody's buying shares and share prices are going up. A bear market is when everybody's selling shares and share prices are going down. So we've entered a bear market, if you ever get that question in the exam. And of course, that's something that's going to be going on for quite a few years now, isn't it? What's happening to the housing market? If you're watching this, you're probably in the housing market. So what's going on in the housing market? Now, lots happening there, of course, in the housing market. Lots going on in the housing market. Things have pretty much been put on hold. The government has said they want the housing market to be paused. You can't, for example, do live valuations at the moment. They're going to do drive-bys or online valuations of property, which is virtually impossible to value property in its entirety, isn't it? Lenders are becoming quite wary of lending at the moment. Some of their high loan-to-value deals are being pulled, although the main high street banks, of course, have been flooded with government money, with Bank of England money, free money. So they've got plenty of money to lend at like no percent or no loss to them at all. It's free money. So there is money, but they've been a bit wary. There's talks of some cases not being approved where they would have been approved, etc. I think it will bounce back in uncertain times, of course, at the moment. It will bounce back. There is money available when things start to get better again and mortgage lending is available. Whether people will jump back into buying properties and selling properties, it may wait to the autumn for that to kick off again. But there's still the need for remortgages, fixed rates coming to an end. The later life market, of course, is still awash with cash from insurance companies. And the money markets, of course, are pumping in cheap money into mainstream lenders for them to lend. So things will certainly bounce back. But at the moment, it's pretty much on pause. What else is happening in the economy? A couple of interesting things for you. Nationalisation. There we are. Nationalisation. for those of you that read about that topic, that means governments are buying into companies. Now, the rail industry here in the UK has, for all intents and purposes, been nationalised. Not a lot of people are aware of that. The government said to them, look, for 6 months, we'll pick up the tab for you and run you, but we'll take the fare income. Or you can take the fare income and you can run yourself. So, of course, the rail companies said, no, Mr. Government, can you please pick up the tab for us because we're suffering terribly. So, in a sense, governments have nationalised the railways. I think they'll go beyond 6 months. I think they'll part nationalise the airlines. British Airways may well be renationalised again as well. So I can see big government coming in now for a long period of time. Big government, of course, comes after world wars and stuff like that. And of course, they never give away their big government status, do they? So even with Conservatives, I think that's going to carry on for a long while as well. A couple of other things that are going on. Back to the stock market for you. Here's a little question that a lot of people get confused with, and that's the subject of short selling. Here we are, short selling. You may have come across short selling before. So what is short selling? Let's just have a quick look at that for you in a video with a bit of a graphic for you as well. Short selling is something that the regulators and most people are getting a little bit concerned about as well. Let's just get our little fuzz back again. We've lost a bit of connection there. We've lost the focus on the video. Let's just get that back again, shall we? There we go. Let's get the focus back. There we go. We're going to get that back on. Am I going to get focus? Yeah, back online for you. The focus went out a little bit there. Short selling. Now, in the market where FTSE's falling, and as I mentioned to you, we'll put the title up there for you, short selling. The FTSE, which is the UK stock market main index, has plummeted from 7.5 down to about 5.5, and it's bubbling up and down at the moment. We know that. Now, the issue there, of course, is that the market's changed now more to a bear market. So what's happening now is short sellers are rearing their ugly heads, depending on which side of the coin you're coming from, a short seller. And the markets, the regulators are trying to ban them again because they don't like short sellers. So how does short selling work? It's actually quite a simple concept, really. Let's just say, for example, you had a share that you were looking at and observing, and that share could be in any company at the moment. They're all going down, but you reckon the share price is going to fall. That's your prediction as a professional in the market. You think it's going to fall. So what you do to short sell is you borrow that share. I don't know, say for example it's British Airways, BA. You borrow it from a fund manager, from somebody in the market who's got some of those shares in their fund, and you pay them a little bit of a fee to borrow. So of course you've got this share. You then sell it, and because you know the market's going to go down, you're selling it at a good price. Say for example you sell it at £20. Because you borrowed it, so of course you got it, so you flogged it to somebody, you've made 20 quid. You then wait for the market to plunge, and then later on down the line, you then buy it again, and I don't know, maybe it's fallen to £10, which it could do, of course. You then return the share because you've got them back again, haven't you? So you return the share to whoever you borrowed it from, and your quid's in, and effectively you made yourself £10 profit, probably less all your costs and things like that, because you bought it for 10, sold it for 20, so you made yourself £10 profit per share, and that's short selling. Is it ethical? It's legal, but what you're doing, of course, is you're driving share prices down. You're short selling. And of course, all these companies, once you start selling, that creates a sales environment. People want to sell, and that in itself drives the market. So if everybody's short selling this share, for example, the market thinks, well, something's wrong there. Let's sell before we lose any more money. So it actually encourages prices to go down, which is why I don't like short selling. I don't know, just a little video for you there on short selling. Okay, let's move on from there, shall we? Let's take a look at a few more topics for you. I've got some motivation stuff as well. I've got some ideas on motivation to keep you pinned and motivated. Now, let's take a look at the markets quickly before we look at the motivation one then. What's amazing me now is what's going to happen to the economies as we come out of all of this. And I've been doing a lot of reading the last couple of days on this topic. And this one's about quantitative easing on steroids. Now, the government's was financing all this thing. They're putting the economies on pause everywhere. So they're sending people home, they're paying salaries. The self-employed have been announced last week that they're going to pay $2.5 grand or something like that a month and give them a lump sum in June, $7 grand or something, huge amounts of money. They're paying 80% of people who've been furloughed. I think that's what it is. So they're keeping companies alive. They said, look, we don't want any company to go bust in this pandemic. So they're keeping economies alive, they're keeping companies alive. They've paused everything. And they're doing it by spending money, by giving everybody money. In America, I believe they're sending checks out for $1,000 or something to everybody. Now, huge amounts of money have been promised. Governments, of course, can't finance this through tax. They have to finance it through borrowing. But what's happening is that we've got all this money being printed by the central banks to pay for the borrowing. And the Fed have said that they're going to buy up large quantities of government treasury bonds. The European Central Bank have offered 750 billion euros to buy back bonds that have been issued by the European Central Bank, and the UK is doing the same. So although they're issuing gilts to pay for all of this, the central banks are printing money to buy the gilts effectively, so the gilts are not being issued on the market. But what will be created, of course, is the post-war period is going to cause some issues as well. Or they call it the post-war period, because after big wars, of course, you have a lot of investment in technology and infrastructure. That may well happen as well. So there's going to be massive competition for the available savings at the market. So we can see low interest rates, low inflation moving forward. Lots of things going on with the economy. But the pause button is definitely something that's going to happen, isn't it? I think things will bounce back. Hey, who knows? Let's take a look then at your mojo then. Let's take a look at being a mortgage advisor. And what can you do in this kind of times that we're in? Because it's very different at the moment. And I imagine this morning, Monday morning, a lot of people probably woke up about 9 o'clock, 10:30, pressed the snooze button and carried on sleeping. Because we're kind of in this odd area where people don't know what to do. You might be working full time, that's great. You might have been furloughed or whatever. So you've got to keep your mojo going. Now, if you think about it, what's happening here is I'm looking at sort of optimism, really. I want you to feel a little bit optimistic about what's going on. Back in January time, unless of course you're in China, it was pretty much normal. There was a good market ahead of us. Mortgage market was looking good. Financial services market was looking good. Everybody was quite confident and buoyant. And then suddenly, of course, along comes this crisis, this virus. I call it a crisis because that's what it is. And that's changed everything. Of course, it hasn't. Many people, oh my God, what's going on? It's pretty awful out there. It's pretty terrible. It's even more difficult to even describe what's happening. So, because people will react in different ways. Some people will panic. Some people will hide. Some people will just hope the world goes away. My partner woke up on Saturday morning. She said, I was hoping it was all going to be a dream and it was all gone. She said when she woke up. And a lot of people thinking that way. So you can do all sorts of different viewpoints. Because what will happen, though, is that we will go through another period shortly called acceptance. Or people suddenly realise that this is the way it's going to be, for quite a while. 6 months of social distancing or more. It's going to be there for a long period of time. And at some point, of course, we will have the recovery. We will have the recovery. Let's put that in there for you as an image. So you can see we will get to recovery. When that is, we don't know. It's probably towards the end of Q3 and into the autumn, possibly. We don't know. But there is going to be a period of time. So you decide what you're going to do. As a mortgage advisor, you've got to make some decisions. Are you going to panic? Are you going to hide? Are you going to scream, moan, complain? And if that's the case, you're not going to accept what's going on. You're just going to panic. Or you can be normal. You can be proactive. You can accept it quickly and be proactive in what you do. And if you're proactive, you'll go through acceptance and you'll be ready for the recovery. If you ignore it, you'll probably miss the recovery or only get bits of it because you haven't prepared, you haven't been proactive. So what can you do? Now, I've got for you 6 ideas that you could do as a mortgage advisor, financial advisor now. First of all, the first thing to do is to incubate or put on hold your client bank. That's the first thing to do. Let's put some ideas over here for you. Let's put this sort of squeeze this in where we've got a bit of space on the whiteboard. Got some space around here, haven't we? So the first thing you do is incubate your client bank. Keep them warm. Keep them contented. Contact them. Don't sell anything to them. Don't do any selling. Obviously, if they want to buy something, you'd be there, but don't expect to sell. I mean, I'm contacting all my clients. I've gone back through my database, all the people that paid me fees in the last 4 years. They're all corporate clients. And I'm emailing them today with an email or phone call. And the question will just be, how can I help you? Just a little bit, how can I help you? And we'll see what I can do to help. There may not be anything, that's fine. But keep them warm, keep them incubated. You want to ring fence them so that they don't go anywhere else when the recovery happens. That's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is to understand the market, the implications, the changes, know what's going on in your marketplace. So keep up to date with what's happening, get some viable information. Don't look at social media for this. The government are all over social media and trying to get rid of all this fake news. Know what the changes are, know what the implications are for you, what's going to go on, what's going to change. You do need to have your nose to the ground, if you like, knowing what's going on with your marketplace. Now, I'm in the financial services market. I'm also in the training market, the education market, and there's some massive changes going on there as well, particularly with the virtual stuff that's happening. The next thing to do, number 3, is get your CPD up to speed. You've got time, start using it to learn things, start to develop your skills, develop your knowledge. Yeah, you can do some more exams if you want to, that's totally fine. You can look at the new business model you're going to be adopting, for example. You might want to look at the virtual business model. We'll talk about that later on. Get yourself into that area. You might want to upskill yourself in technology. You want to learn some things. LinkedIn Learning has been made available to people. There's lots of learning opportunities. Do your equity release exams, do various other exams, do your diploma exams if you're into that. So really take the time to upskill yourself. It's definitely something to do as well. Number 4 is keep the people around you, keep your loved ones secure and safe. Now, that sounds a bit corny and people saying that, but it's actually true. They're the people that support you. They're the people that are there for you when you need them. So make sure your family is safe, secure, happy, keep in contact with people via video. We do weekly quiz nights on this system with our family, my dad in France, sister-in-law, all sorts of people, kids. And it's important to do that as well. And that's important. Number 5 is master the art of working from home or in some kind of sort of distant place, virtual place. It helps with CPD, of course, but here you want to master the art of working from home. So, Google how to work from home. I mean, I can tell you how to do it, but I'm not going to because you can Google it. Master the art of working from home. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. I've been doing it for 20 years now, but it's something you can do. But you really need to be doing more of it. How to work in an isolated environment, because moving forward, that may well happen more and more. So master the art of doing that as well. And the last one, number 6, is innovate and experiment. Take a look at some new ways of working. Experiment using this kit as well as a video kit with clients. Talk to clients about signing documents using DocuSign. Innovate, experiment, try new things. And these 6 recommendations will make you proactive. You've got to be proactive. You've got to be able to work through this. You'll get yourself into acceptance, and then you'll be able to benefit from the main recovery when it comes about. And it's not that far away. So there's some ideas for you to help keep your motivation going, keep your optimism going. Hope that's been useful. Okay, there we are. So what do you think of that then? That was rubbish, Paul. But no, the point is that you've got to be able to keep yourself focused during this situation. You can't just dwell or fester or any of those horrible things. And you do need to think about technology. And what I want to do now, I'll give you an extra sort of 5 minutes, I think, on the live stream for you. What I want to look at now are some methods for you to help you deliver online mortgage advice, online meetings, whatever it is you feel you need to do. Because This video, I'm doing a live stream there to a camera. We're beaming off to YouTube. Of course we are. This is slightly different. You may not want to do this with clients because it's more personal. But you definitely want to be mastering the art of talking to people via video. And I've got a number of techniques to help you here, which you can Google these things, but I just want to talk to you about video advising for any better term really is what I want to look at for you. So I've got 10 ideas for you to help you. The first thing is, when you have a meeting with somebody online, make sure that you have a proper meeting agenda, a to-do list, whatever it is. It's a proper meeting, regard it as such. So you have intro, any other business, that kind of stuff as well. Make sure you're doing that as well. Make sure if you're going to be using any file sharing, such as a PowerPoint deck, for example, that you have it available on the system before you start. So if it's a PDF you want to show, if it's a document you want to show, PowerPoint deck, have them uploaded into the system, ready to go as well. If you're going to be sharing screens, make sure that you get rid of any clutter that's on the screen. Make sure that you haven't got any sort of email pop-ups or anything naughty that you don't want people to see. If better than sharing a screen, share an app. Not a lot of people are aware of that, but you can actually ask your system to share an app, like a PDF player, for example, or video player, rather than a whole screen, because otherwise other things crop up along the way as well. Use a headset or some way of talking to people. You can use the microphone on the camera if you want to, and the speakers. They can cause echoes. A little headset gadget. I mean, I've got one down here which I use for mine. It might look a bit geeky, but this headset, when I switch it on, it's Bluetooth, so it allows me to move anywhere I want to. I can hear very clearly and I can talk very clearly. Even when I turn around, I can still talk as well. Obviously, I've got a microphone here, which is attached to the camera for the purposes, and a microphone here, a big Yeti over there, which picks up sound. So make sure you get the sound right along the way as well. Lighting. Make sure you've got adequate lighting. Now, if it's a straightforward meeting using Zoom or Microsoft Teams or something, make sure that you've got a fairly plain background. Now, I've got a whiteboard behind me, which is fine. I'm not saying you should do that, but you could. Don't have a light behind you, don't have a window behind you, because that will just make you more sort of a black image. Do invest in some lighting, maybe some cheap LED lighting that plugs into your computer that goes above your webcam. It's quite easy to do. So lighting is certainly important as well. The other thing, of course, is maintain eye contact. Now, that's obvious, and you would do that in a face-to-face meeting with anybody. Of course you would. Now, in this situation, it's slightly different because I'm looking at the lens. I'm not looking at you, of course I'm not, but I'm looking at the lens of the camera, which therefore, when you watch this, you probably think I'm giving you eye contact. I'm not, because I can't see you. But if it was a live one, I would still be looking at the lens. But what I would do with live meetings is I have a video screen over there, and above it I have a webcam. So when I'm looking at somebody's image there, the webcam's picking me up. So you should always get one of these little bendy sort of things that allow your webcam to move around as close as you can to the person's image. It's not easy to do, actually. People forget. They look at the person on the screen rather than the lens. So you do need to make sure that you do that as well. When you go online, preview yourself. Have a look at what you look like before you actually press the button and go. That's quite important, actually. I always check the screen, make sure it's okay. I can see myself down there. I'm kind of in this situation. My head's not above the screen. So preview just to make sure that all is good. Background and visual is now, when I mentioned about the background, make sure that you don't have anything behind you that's distorting you or distracting you. The bookcase is a bit old hat now, guys. Don't put a bookcase behind you. People do it, try and make themselves look more intelligent. It's just ridiculous now. So just have something plain, maybe a poster possibly. You can buy stickers actually on Amazon with windows where you look out onto a beach. I've done that before. Where you have a window with a beach on video. It looks real. What you wear is up to you. I've got a little shirt on here. Don't have it too stripy. It might cause issues with people watching you, fuzzy clothes and stuff like that. Your Wi-Fi is next to last tip for you. If you can, have your internet tethered via an Ethernet cable. Wi-Fi is up and down like a yo-yo at the moment, especially if you've got kids in the house streaming videos, watching games, etc. No, watching videos and streaming games. The Wi-Fi will be intermittent, so if you can have an Ethernet cable attached to the one, much better. I mean, I've got some Ethernet here connected to the Virgin out there, gives me massive speed, and it's fairly predictably good. Now, if it does break down, have a backup as well. Make sure you have a backup. Now, in here we've got a couple of Wi-Fi backups. Got a BT router, literally just 2 feet above there, which will Wi-Fi me at a decent speed in case this all fails. I've also got a phone, of course, that I could toggle on to 4G. I've got a gadget from O2 which I connect, which allows signal to be really good in this room. I'm in a basement, remember, underground, so I can get 4G very quickly. So have a backup, because this is the only way you communicate with people. And it's it's pretty bad if it goes down as well. That's it, really. They're the tips. Last one is keep your energy. It's difficult talking to a camera because it's not a person, is it? Keep your energy going. I do a couple of things to keep my energy going, if I can do. Now, if I'm doing a live stream, which I'm doing now, I always stand up. People sit down, don't they, on these things? Why do people always sit down? I suppose because the laptop's on the desk, isn't it? But I always stand up. I'm moving around. I can move around as much as I want to. I'm standing up. It's what I would normally do when I'm presenting. Therefore, it gives me a little bit more energy. I can use my hands, although you're not supposed to use your hands on the screen. It's a bit daft, isn't it? So I can give energy. I can project. I can talk. If you're sitting down, make sure that you move around a bit more. Give yourself some boost of energy, something to get going as well. Make sure you move around as well. And by the way, last tip for you is you can wear what you like under your shirt. You've got no idea what I'm wearing under here, have you? If you really wanted to know, I've got my pajamas on. No, I haven't actually. I've got their trousers on, but you can wear what you like under here. It doesn't really matter what you look like. Some people like to go to work with suits and ties, don't they, on these things? That's fine by me. So there's some tips there to help you with video advising. You defo need to get into it because it's the way forward. Even when we come out of lockdown, social distancing, I think, is going to go on forever to some degree, even if it's in people's heads rather than in the law. And therefore, having face-to-face meetings with somebody is might be more difficult. Would you want to go into a air-conditioned little meeting room with a financial advisor? I probably wouldn't want to moving forward. You'd much rather hook up on video because people are getting used to it now. So make sure your business model uses this at least some of the time, or gives the client the option of talking to them, arranging their mortgage via a virtual means. It's the way forward, won't go away. So there's some tips and ideas for you. There we go. So extra special live stream for you today. Half an hour of live streaming. I hope you've enjoyed all of that. I certainly have, of course. I'll be here live next week. Remember, you're on the live stream version here on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe. Get other people to subscribe to the channel as well. I'd love you to do that. If you're on the boot camp, we give you the HD version of this, which is a proper camera. You're getting a sort of stream version here. Proper HD version. We put it on the Bootcamp learning management system. If you're interested in seeing that bootcamp, because I did mention about CPD earlier, then we're still running quite happily over here. You can get on to there, go onto the website archertraining.com, and you can find out details about the bootcamp. If you're on YouTube here, we've got a channel down there or a playlist down there with excerpts of our bootcamp for you as well to help you along the way. We've got some free live streams in the evenings now about how to be a mortgage advisor. You can sign up for that as well. So go onto the website, get onto our database. And they're our family, you see, our database. We keep in touch with people on the database for all sorts of goodies, freebies and stuff like that. And we're here to help you because that's what we're here to do. Hope you have a great week. Remember, guys, stay motivated, stay energetic, stay proactive. Make sure you're keeping yourself active as much as possible. And we'll catch you next week. Bye.